Good evening, everyone, and welcome to your Rangers Review team news reaction video ahead of the Premiership encounter between Rangers and Aberdeen at Ibrox this evening. Chris Jack is at Ibrox for us. The teams have not long dropped, and big congratulations to Chris, who got the team bang on. So a bottle of bubbly is on its way to you, Chris. First of all, how's it going at Ibrox?
Fine. Not saying it's the biggest game of the season here. I'm not saying there's that big a hype around it, but I think it's going to be a different occasion, hopefully, to Sunday. I think, as we spoke about on the show this morning, the atmosphere and the feel around about Ibrox was really strange at the weekend. I think, given the kind of more significance of this fixture, hopefully it brings a bit more out of Ibrox crowd. Honestly, time will tell if there's going to be protests, if there's going to be banners, if there's going to be chants against the board or the club or aspects of it. But ultimately, it's a really big game for Rangers. They have to get another 3 points on the board to strengthen that position in second, and they have to try and keep this home run going. And as we touched on this morning, safe to say the Ibrox crowd is due a higher level of domestic performance. There's been a number of them over the course of the campaign. It's been a bit flat, been a bit lethargic at times. So hopefully that can be taken up a notch. And I think the team that the manager has picked, I think that's a good sign. He's not tried to tinker with it, not tried to overcomplicate it. It's a team and a number of players that have played well of late. So hopefully they can take that one again tonight.
Yep, and more importantly, what's on the menu tonight in the press room as Stevie walks by? Hello, Stevie.
I've got headphones in, so I can't actually hear you. He's just assuming that you said hello, and you've not slaughtered them.
As long as he's not called me a numpty, then that's it. That's all well and good. But what's on the menu? What's crossing the Chris Jack palate this evening?
I've not actually been to check it out yet. Traffic was a bit slow on the way in, so I've just straight in here, said hello to a couple of people, and then came in, get straight in and set up. So I'll go and see if Stevie's left me anything after I've done the show.
Yes, right, good stuff. Let's crack on with the team because, as we touched on, Chris has got it bang on. So Rangers lining up the exact same starting 11 that started on Sunday against St Johnstone. Kelly in goal. Back four of Ridvan, Proper, Enciala and Jeffday. Raskin, the captain again. He partners Diamande in midfield. In that front four, if you like, Cherny, Danilo, Hadji and Igaman. More interestingly, there's some omissions and some inclusions on the bench, which we'll dive into. The Rangers substitute bench, you can see on the ticker below, but it is Mason Munn, James Tavernier, Connor Barron, Cyril Dessers, Nadeem Bayrami, Leon Balogun, Ross McCausland, Bailey Royce, and Zach Lovelace. So the manager entrusting the team that started against St Johnstone had a very good first half against St Johnstone, you've got to say. Although, let's be honest, Simo Valakari's team are doomed. They are very poor, and I'd imagine will be playing championship football next season. But you can only beat the team that's in front of you, and I can understand why he's gone for the same 11 for this game, Chris.
I think there was spells in that first half against St Johnstone where Rangers they obviously dominated in terms of possession. And I think as me and Josh touched on after the game, as I wrote in my analysis piece, St Johnstone made it really easy for Rangers to play against them. Though Valakari also has the style that he's sticking to. He chose to play in a way that I thought suited Rangers down to the ground. It was really surprising that he chose to go that way. Didn't try and mix it up. So Rangers were really comfortable in the game. They took their goals well. Those chances, some of them they carved out themselves. Other of them they were presented to them. But Rangers took their goals well. You score 3 goals in that short space of time. The game's done. Game's won. I think the frustration, certainly for the manager, was the last hour. Certainly the second half, Rangers didn't go and could capitalise on that. You got the feeling that there was more goals in that game. If Rangers if they kept the intensity, if they had been a bit more clinical, decision making been better at times, finishing been better at times, there was a bigger margin of victory in that game for Rangers. Ultimately, 3-0 did the job. It was 3 goals, 3 points, and that was the main thing. But I think that there was goals there. There was an opportunity there for Rangers that they didn't quite take. But I think overall, again, as we touched on this morning, you look at the starting 11 almost is justified by looking at the bench. Obviously, Tavernier and Leon Balogun coming back in, which is good. But you're then looking at like Barron, Dessers, Bayrami, McCausland. There's not a lot of guys there who are banging on the door saying, I deserve a start. You're not going to take bigger man out and put Dessers in if you don't have to. You're not going to take Tierney out and put McCausland in if you don't have to. This is a game that Rangers don't have to make those changes. Obviously, Fraserburgh at the weekend, it could be a very different thing. You might see a McCausland or Dessers or maybe some of the younger boys. It's a lovely Rice starting. That's maybe their game, but they don't have to manage the minutes as much tonight. So it's no surprise that he's going for the strongest side. I think, as we both said this morning, if they can get some minutes into Tav and get some minutes into Balogun, that would certainly be a bonus. Not for tonight, hopefully they're not needed tonight in terms of Rangers getting the result, but certainly heading into what's to come next week with Old Trafford and then Tannadice.
Yep. It's good to see Tavernier and Balogun back on the bench. It's just options, of course, for the manager. He did touch on it yesterday in his pre-match press conference that they would make an assessment on whether they'll feature tonight, today. So, I think I would like to see Tavernier of the two. If we don't see Balogun, then I have no issue with that. It means that NCL and Proper are doing the business, and let's hope they're as untested as they possibly can. Let's talk about the bench then, Chris, because first of all, good to see Balogun and, as you mentioned, Rice and Tavernier there. There are some notable omissions. Now, reports earlier on suggesting that Rabbi Matondo could be on his way out the door. An apparent club in Europe have agreed a loan deal with Rangers. But the big news is he's not part of the matchday squad, which would sort of tie in with that speculation that he could be on his way out of Ibrox.
I asked on that one this morning and didn't get anywhere. I will go and try and beaver away and get something on that before the game if we can. I think it's a deal that would make a lot of sense for Rangers. Matondo he's not kicked on. He's not shown often enough that he's going to be value for money. Has spent a number of weeks, months, almost every season he's been here. Spent that time injured and not available. Just not consistent enough in terms of his availability, just not consistent enough in terms of his form. He is someone that I think Rangers should be looking to move on. And if they could do that, I think that would represent a good bit of January business. As you say, not on the bench. That perhaps indicates that he's not going to be involved. Yeah,
and another notable absentee, Oscar Cortez. I know you've just pitched up at Ibrox, so I don't envisage that you know why at this point in time, but you can see why some supporters may be a tad frustrated at that, given it looks like a Rabbi Matondo Mark II, where we simply haven't seen anywhere near enough of him.
Similar area of the pitch, similar problems with both players so far. They mentioned obviously Matondo not being in the squad indicates that he's perhaps not going to be involved. Longer term for Rangers, I don't think he has a long-term future here. Cortez, given the money that has been committed to him, should have a long-term future here, but he's someone that's got a lot of ground to make up. It's not quite worked. Now he's got himself fit and then got himself back into the team and never really kicked on. Has then been injured again and had to go through that process. So the manager will do interviews with the BBC and Sky before the game. I'm assuming the issue will come up. If not, hopefully it'll come up post-match and we can try and get an update on him. He was not mentioned in dispatches in terms of the injuries yesterday.
No.
So we could only assume that there's a knock there, because you would imagine if it was a choice between him and McCausland, or certainly him and Lovelace, then Cortez would be the man that would get that particular nod. So the fact that he's not there would suggest he's maybe picked up a knock, but we will try and find out.
Yeah, it's puzzling. Keith Lemon gets in touch. He says, "Oh no, where's Kieran Dowell?" I sense sarcasm there from Keith, but no Kieran Dowell on the bench. But I am pleased that we've seen the two young lads, not only Bailey Rice, but Zach Lovelace as well on there. I would like to see both get an opportunity later on in the game. It would mean that Rangers are cruising. I don't know if they will be cruising in this game, Chris. I can see it being a tight run thing. But like you say, you just hope that you get a Rangers performance that has been few and far between. Now, the home record is very good, just 2 points dropped at home, but we're looking for something on the park that just heats up the supporters in the stands who are braving the elements tonight. They've got the players at their disposal. That front four is a front four that can cause any team issues. We'd just like to see it tonight.
It's been a long time. If it does come tonight, I think it has been a long time coming. As we touched on earlier on, a lot of the home performances have just not been at the level required. Rangers getting their way through these games, narrow victories, not really inspiring, not really entertaining for large spells of them. The record, as you say there, Derek, the record is good. 31 points out of 33. It should have been 33 out of 33. A couple that were dropped should never have been dropped in that manner. But they were. Interesting to see how Aberdeen go about their business tonight. It feels like already a long time ago since that night at Pittodrie when I was up there. And Aberdeen win that night. They go 9 points clear. Just a few weeks on, an 18-point swing in the Premiership. I think there was always a feeling that Aberdeen, they were really overperforming in those first weeks of the season. I think all the numbers showed that they were. Yes, they were playing well in spells. Yes, they were certainly on a crest of a wave. They rode that momentum and they put a lot of points on the board earlier on. I think there was always a feeling that Aberdeen would come back a level or two. I don't think people expected them to come back as far as they have been. I think it's 11 games now without a win. That's a really surprising run of form for them. Hopefully tonight is not the night where they go and reverse that, but I think they will and they should cause Rangers more problems than St Johnstone did on Sunday. It's whether Rangers can overcome that. They need to be better at free kicks, need to be better at set pieces. They need to defend a whole lot better than they have been of late. But as you said there, you look at that front four, Danilo, Tierney, Hadji, Igaman. There's enough threat and enough goals, enough creativity and enough guile in that front four to go and beat Aberdeen. Time will tell whether Rangers can produce a complete performance to get it over the line.
Yep, that Aberdeen team, they're also unchanged from the side that drew with Hearts last time out. So their team in full, folks, is a 4-2-3-1. Doing in goals, Devlin, Nielsen, Tobers and McGarry at the back. Graham Shinney and Palaversa, the two holding midfielders, Ockles, Clarkson and Keskinen, supporting Kevin Nisbet up top. So that is how Aberdeen shape up at Ibrox tonight. We will be back just after the full-time whistle to give our reaction to what we hope will be a splendid Rangers display tonight and 3 points. You mentioned there an 18-point swing. I wouldn't mind an 18-point swing with the top two. That would be most welcome, but I very much doubt we'll see that. But they can eat into that almighty gap a little bit tonight. So, go out and do the business. And, we'll speak to you a little later on. Bye for now.